All assembled, welcome to the 2019 International Folk Music Awards. To begin our evening, please welcome to the stage the Akwesasne Women Singers.
Hello everyone, we're going to share a couple songs with you all, and we're so grateful to be here with all of you. The next song is an honor song for Buffy St. Marie. My niece here made a beautiful song with one of her songs she did, and I hope you all like it. It's a snagging song.
And now, please welcome to the stage of the Ganawage Mohawk Territory, Grand Chief Joseph Toquiro Norton. Unfortunately, due to the inclement weather, Chief Norton was unable to meet us. Please welcome to the stage, if you would, s'il vous plaît, accueillir the U.S. Consul General, le Consul Général des États-Unis, Robert Thomas.
Thank you. The most important people at every festival, right? Bonsoir. Good evening. It's such an honor for me to be here with you tonight to celebrate the very best of folk music. I'd really like to thank the Folk Alliance team for inviting me to take part in the evening's festivities. I understand it was more than 30 years ago that US and Canadian festival organizers started the Alliance. And it's been a beautiful example of cross-border partnership ever since its inception. And with more than, I think, 35 countries now represented, it's also a testament to how the diversity of folk art can bring us all together. So I suppose, like all of us, my love of music was shaped as I grew up. For me, growing up as a gay kid in Appalachia. But my love of music didn't start with folk music. I grew up with my parents' taste for Barry Manilow and Billy Joel. And I'll even admit that all these years later, you put on any song that was ever recorded by Barry Manilow and I can sing it. So while somebody hunts for the recording. But I found my first folk rock love when I discovered the Indigo Girls. They opened a door for me that eventually led to greats like Joni Mitchell, who I understand we're honoring tonight. And for the first time in my life, I heard music that really penetrated all the way down into my soul. I spent my college years just a few miles from Bristol, Tennessee in Virginia, where I learned to love the music of the Bristol Sessions, Rhythm and Roots, and the musical legacy of Central Appalachia. I've also served as a diplomat now for almost 20 years in West Africa, Mexico, Canada, and I've had the privilege to enjoy the folk music traditions of a variety of cultures and countries, including here in Montreal. I got to hear the remarkable story for the first time of Buffy Sainte-Marie from an interview with Tom Power. So when I was invited to join you and welcome the more than, I understand, 1,100 American delegates to this great city for the Folk Alliance Conference, I just couldn't pass it up. And while I do want to recognize the importance of events like this for their economic impact and helping to grow and find markets for the artists and cultural sectors of our respective countries, I want most of all to thank you for the cultural bridges that you build. Wherever you come from and whatever cultural influences you bring to your art, please know that it matters. My work is all about building bridges to keep our relationships strong. And in the 20 or so years that I've been doing that, what it's taught me is that the most fundamental tenet of diplomacy is to remember first and foremost that we must seek to understand one another. And if we're looking to find empathy for each other, our music is a beautiful place to start. Thank you. So thank you very much for what you do to bring all of us closer together. And thank you for allowing me to join you to celebrate your music, your extraordinary talents, and the friendship that bonds this community together. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Et bonne soirée.
S'il vous plaît, veuillez accueillir sur la scène les animateurs des International Folk Music Awards de 2019, l'artiste montréalaise Anais Mitchell et l'animateur de l'émission acclamée de Radio-Canada, Q, Tom Power. All assembled, please welcome to the stage the MCs for the 2019 International Folk Music Awards, Montreal-based artist Anais Mitchell and the host of CBC's acclaimed show Q, Tom Power.
Just because we didn't get to do it at the very beginning, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that where we are is located on unceded indigenous lands. The Kanoke-Hagwa Nation is recognized as the custodians of the lands and waters on which we gather today. Gojage is historically known as a gathering place for many First Nations. Today is home to a diverse population of indigenous and other peoples. We respect the continued connections with the past, present, and future in our ongoing relationships with indigenous and other peoples within the Montreal community. Good evening, and welcome to the 2019 International Folk Music Awards. It is an honor to be here in Montreal to pay tribute to some of the best of the folk music community and to kick off the Canadian edition of the next 5 days of the 31st Annual Folk Alliance International Conference.
Bonjour et bienvenue aux Prix internationaux de la musique folk 2019. Je m'appelle Annick Granger et je suis fière de vous présenter la soirée en français pour votre hôte et maître de cérémonie ce soir, Tom Power.
Thank you so much to the Akwesasne Women Singers for the beautiful opening song, to U.S. Consul General Robert Thomas for their words of welcome. Give him a round of applause. A special thank you to our opening reception sponsors tonight, the Canadian Federation of Musicians, CIMA, Folk Music Canada, Folk Music Ontario, and Mondial Montréal.
Merci aux Akwesasne Women Singers pour cette magnifique chanson d'ouverture, au grand chef Joe Norton et au consulat général des États-Unis, Robert Thomas, pour les mots de bienvenue, ainsi qu'un merci spécial à tous nos commanditaires de la soirée.
Okay, so, yeah, see, you're going to have to get used to when to clap. I know it's weird. I'm going to say a thing, and he's going to say a thing, and then we're all going to clap together, right? Welcome to Canada. I want to mention a few things off the top here. If you don't know me, my name is Tom Power. I host a public radio show called Q on CBC Radio. It also airs on NPR in the US. Thank you very much, both of you. So if you looked at me and said, in my suit, I bet he's more comfortable in a cardigan doing a bad impression of Ira Glass than you'd be onto something. For our American folks here today, yes, I work for public radio, but I'm not going to ask you for a donation too many times tonight. But I did. I studied folklore in university. I'm a folk musician. I'm actually showcasing this weekend with my band, the Dardanelles, playing traditional Newfoundland music. Cheap plug. I've been attending this conference for many, many years, and I have to say, when I first started attending Folk Alliance, it was the first place I really felt like home. Like I was surrounded by like-minded folks. And I've since attended, I'd say, about 4 Folk Alliances, so all in all, about 20 days, and then like one night that felt like 20 days. It's the only conference I can think of where you can learn how to break into the Virginian home concert market, hear a living legend play in a hotel room, and bum a cigarette off a Grammy winner. I'm looking at you, Joan Baez.
Alors, comme vous le savez déjà, lui, c'est Tom Power, animateur de radio, homme de talents multiples et vétéran des conférences de Folk Alliance. Moi, c'est ma première et je suis ouverte à toutes les aventures qui pourraient se présenter cette semaine. Je suis auteur, compositeur, interprète, guitariste et je viens de réaliser une série de podcasts qui s'appelle Le ruban de la cassette. Alors, j'espère avoir la chance d'entendre vos histoires cette semaine.
I want to give a special welcome to Canada, especially for any of our American friends visiting. Anyone here from the U.S.? You guys made it through the storm? It's nice to have you here. I just got an update from Angus, from the executive director, before I came on stage. He's told me that we will have a chaplain roaming the hallways in case you want to marry a Canadian. We will have a person roaming the hotel room showcase just because around 2 a.m. you realize you want to stick around and you might not want to head back anytime soon. Just guessing.
Alors, bienvenue à tous nos amis des États-Unis. Si jamais il y a des demandes en mariage pour moi, vous pouvez les adresser à mon agent. Just kidding, j'ai pas d'agent. Mais s'il y a des demandes en mariage de la part d'un agent, on jasera.
You know, I'm only joking about staying here and not going back because, you know, our music has a history of not settling for the status quo, not giving up, you know, and at a time where so many voices are being silenced and so many voices are being unheard, using our own voices effectively as we can. You know, that brings to mind our special guest tonight, Buffy St. Marie over here. I'm so looking forward to honoring Buffy a little bit later on tonight. You know, this conference, Folk Alliance, is a special thing. It has a mission to preserve, promote, and present folk music globally. It is a place of belonging, acceptance, and equality where we all share a passion for the same thing. Tonight we celebrate excellence, honor, tradition, and we recognize leadership in our community.
Folk Alliance a comme mission de préserver, promouvoir et présenter la musique folk de façon globale. C'est un lieu d'appartenance, d'acceptation et d'équité, où nous partageons une passion pour la musique folk. Ce soir, nous célébrons l'excellence, honorons la tradition et soulignons le leadership à l'intérieur de notre communauté.
The theme of this year's Folk Alliance is the spirit of creativity. And what better host city for that than Montreal, which is an absolutely beautiful city. It'll be even more beautiful once it's done. But truly, the home of some of the most groundbreaking art in the history of this country. So on this theme, you'll see conference programming that will explore the artistic process from inspiration to vocation, innovation, collaboration, and spirituality in art. But given that Folk Alliance is not a relic of the past, it will also bring focus to the issues of mental health, of general health, and wellness in our music community that desperately need our attention.
Le thème de cette année, l'esprit de la créativité. Et quel meilleur endroit pour nous accueillir que Montréal, connu pour ses artistes, ses nids de poules, sa scène musicale de renommée internationale et sa valorisation de la culture. Inspirée par ce thème, la programmation de cette année explore le processus artistique de l'inspiration à la vocation. Elle adresse l'innovation, la collaboration et la spiritualité dans l'art. Elle se penche aussi sur les questions de santé et de bien-être.
Well, we're off to a great start. The microphone was broken and I had to tell the audience when to clap. Before we begin the award presentations, it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's first performing artist, revealing the essence of this year's conference theme, and asking the question that we all find ourselves asking every now and then. Why do we do this? It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage a tremendous poet from Nova Scotia who now calls Montreal home.
Avant de débuter la remise de prix, il nous fait grand plaisir de présenter la première artiste en performance ce soir. Allant droit au cœur du thème de la conférence et posant la question que nous nous posons tous, pourquoi est-ce qu'on fait ça? J'ai le plaisir d'accueillir sur scène une poète originaire de la côte Est, montréalaise d'adoption.
Please welcome Tonya Davis.
Bonjour Montréal.
I wondered what would be the worth of my words in the world. If I write them and then recite them, are they worth being heard? Just because I like them, does that mean that I should make them and see what might unfurl? And I think of the significance of my opinions here. Is it significant to be giving them? Does anybody care? Just because I'm into this, does that mean that I should live like it? And really, do I dare? Art, art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. My heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to. So I pondered the point of my art in this life. If I make it, will someone take it and think that it's genuine? Would they be glad that I did, 'cause they got something good out of it? Would they leave me and be any more inspired? And I question the outcome of the outpouring of myself. If I tell everyone my stories, would this keep me healthy and well? Would it give me purpose and to this world some sort of service? Is it worth it? How could I tell? Art, art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. My heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to. Art, art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. My heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to. Thank you, merci.
I don't know what to speak into. One more time for Tonya Davis, everybody. Isn't that fantastic? Won't be seeing a video like that at 3 a.m. in a hotel room. The Spirit of Folk Awards are presented each year to acknowledge people and organizations actively involved in the promotion and preservation of folk music through their creative work, community building, and demonstrated leadership.
À tous les ans, les Spirit of Folk Awards sont décernés afin de reconnaître les gens et les regroupements qui œuvrent activement et créativement à la promotion et à la préservation de la musique folk.
So these are kind of the big ones. To present the first Spirit of Folk Award, please welcome past Folk Alliance International Board Member, President and CEO of the Canada Live Music Association from just down the road in Ottawa, but originally from here. Please welcome Aaron Benjamin.
Just 1 second. Go ahead.
Pour la forme, veuillez accueillir une ancienne membre du Conseil de Folk Alliance International et la présidente de the Canada Live Music Association, Aaron Benjamin.
Thanks, everyone. It's great to be here. Welcome to Montreal. It's so wonderful to see so many of my Folk Alliance family back in Canada. Originally from Ontario, our very first award recipient tonight is a musician, a film producer, a director, and a writer. We first met in 1996 back at the Ontario Council of Folk Festivals Conference. I believe it was in Orillia, if any of you remember that. Yep. In addition to leading her band, Night Sun, for almost 20 years, she's dedicated her career to supporting the Inuit artists of the Canadian Arctic from her home in Iqaluit on Baffin Island. If you think Montreal is cold and snowy, ladies and gentlemen, please go to Baffin Island. She's the current executive director of Kagiavut, a society dedicated to building a rehearsal and performance space in Nunavut. the only territory or capital city in North America not to have an arts center. She also leads the Kagak Project to bring traditional artists to the world stage. For her life of advocacy and the promotion of traditional Inuit performance, she has been honored with the Order of Nunavut and the Order of Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the simply amazing Ellen Hamilton.
In case, hoping that door swings and I see your face, and I'll lie you now.
Okay, I get to say something? Okay. I'm so embarrassed, actually, and humbled because it's, the knowledge keepers who I work with are the ones who should be here. One of the great collateral damages of colonization is the loss of songs and stories among our Indigenous people. When I worked 40 years ago in Mitamatilik, a little community on Baffin Island, we started a theater group and we looked around for the traditional songs to start the show, and the elders said they didn't know any. But after the show, we found some elders from another community and they taught the actors some ancient music. And when the show began with young people singing these old songs, there wasn't a dry eye and there was the sound of wailing. It was as though there had been a death. And the elders called us up after the show and said, I do remember a song. You can't silence artists. Artists are agents of change. And thank you to all Indigenous musicians who maintain their music and their language and give youth a sense of belonging. Thank you.
Pour présenter le prochain prix Spirit of Folk, veuillez souhaiter la bienvenue au professeur de droit de l'Université Cornell et nouveau membre du conseil d'administration de Folk Alliance International, Gerald Torres. To present the next Spirit of Folk Award, please welcome Cornell Professor of Law and incoming Folk Alliance International Board Member, Gerald Torres.
Thank you. Just as folk music defies societal norms, the next recipient is constantly surprising anyone who attempts to put her in a box. I dare you. Rejecting a lifetime of colonial expectations, she openly explores topical and often uncomfortable issues. Treating music as a call to action in her musical work with Digging Roots. In 2017, she organized the Anishinaabe, a touring performance commissioned by the National Arts Center to showcase the diversity of Indigenous performers, and she received the 2018 Professional Excellence Award from WOMEX. Currently serving as the president of Folk Music Canada and coordinating the inaugural International Indigenous Music Summit tomorrow during the conference, please join me in congratulating Shoshana Kish.
I come from a really beautiful place in the world called Batchewana, on the shores of Lake Superior, and I just want to acknowledge my community and the song keepers and the people who have done amazing work against all odds to hold up tradition and keep our stories and keep our old songs alive. I feel like this This award is about, somebody said it was about unrecognized contributions or people who were doing things behind the scenes. And for me, like, it's wonderful to be on stage and do my work with Digging Roots. I love making art. But I feel like I've also found this passion in doing work for community. And in some ways, that work has nothing to do with me. And so for all of those people on the ground doing that frontline work for communities that no one is really noticing, I would just like to send this out to you. It's that grassroots action where all the real change is happening. It's the places, you know, it's where we're planting our gardens and how we're taking care of our kids. And it is about those small house concerts. And it is about the ceremony happening on the land. And I'm really excited that we're hosting the first International Indigenous Music Summit this year. Yeah, that's happening. There are Indigenous people from all over the world here at this gathering, and I'd like to honor all of them. They, to me, are the voices of the future and the voices of the past. And they are holding those teachings from our land in their songs. And to me, lifting up those voices isn't something that we're doing for us, for Indigenous people. We're doing it for all of humanity because this is a time that needs those stories and needs those songs. And I just want to say chimigwech to Ellen. You know, I think this is the music of the underground. And there is so much beautiful music happening here this weekend. So please come and find us. Come and sing with us. Chimigwech.
All right, okay. In honor of the late co-founder of Folk Alliance, Elaine Weisman, the Lifetime Achievement Awards are presented each year in her name to a living recipient, a memorial recipient, and an active organization in recognition of tremendous impact in the folk music community and on the world. Tonight's recipients were determined by the voting membership of Folk Alliance International.
En mémoire de la cofondatrice de Folk Alliance, Elaine Weisman, tous les ans, un prix hommage est remis à un récipiendaire vivant, un récipiendaire commémoratif et à un organisme actif. Les récipiendaires de ce soir ont été choisis par vote auprès de la membriété de Folk Alliance International. Voici maintenant à l'écran la vidéo du premier récipiendaire de la soirée.
And now please look to the screens as we view this year's first Lifetime Achievement Award recipient video.
A few things to clear up at the start. First, it's F-Roots, not Fruits, because it's a British magazine about folk roots, not fruit. Second, its founder Ian Anderson is not, as he puts it, the one-legged flute player from Jethro Tull. Finally, nobody wants to contemplate what life would be like if F-Roots and its previous incarnations, Folk Roots and Southern Rag, had not existed for over 40 years as British folk's chief griot, trend spotter, traditionalist, moral compass, occasional scold, champion of the undiscovered and forgotten, guardian angel, and loving, if sometimes cranky, babysitter. British folk legend Martin Carthy says the roots world wouldn't be such an interesting place if F-Roots didn't exist. It opens people's eyes to all sorts of things they might not have imagined had anything to do with them. Tradition isn't easy. It's a complex and growing thing, a process. And a process needs feeding. F-Roots does that. Simply leafing through the quarterly is exciting. It's weighty, colorful, urgent, brimming with energy, breathlessly stuffed with names, shows, photos, reviews, interviews, listings, music downloads, and newsy bits connecting genre to genre, old to young, culture to culture, tradition to tradition. Katie Spicer of the Venerable English Folk Dance and Song Society said, F-Roots remains at the heart of the British folk world, the sounding board you go to for who's on the up, who's touring where, the next hot thing in the UK and around the world. Billy Bragg said F-Roots proves that Englishness and multiculturalism do go together, and manager mogul Joe Boyd said, I doubt if the huge audience that now exists for world and roots music would be there if it weren't for F-Roots. To founder Ian Anderson, it's quite simple. Our motto, he says, is invitation to enthusiasm. That's what we do. Like much of the 60s revival in Britain, Anderson was first drawn to American roots music, particularly blues, and has, in his words, been getting more English ever since. His early heroes were American John Kerner and British blues icon Alexis Corner. Alexis gave a leg up to everybody, Anderson says. He was a musician, but also an activist. He, more than anyone, was my mentor. That combination of playing, writing, putting people together, enthusing things, musical, social engineering. Anderson is a remarkably prolific musician, writer, editor, radio host, label owner, event promoter, photographer, designer, and he served on Arts Council and Folk Society boards, which he describes as paying my debt to society. He finds value in all those hats. I can see different sides to so many different fences, he told interviewer John Wilkinson. When artists are whining on about festivals or record companies, or when they're whining about artists, I can say, yeah, but I see everybody's point of view. While building a performing career, Anderson began writing about music. He wrote well, knew his stuff, so he kept getting asked to write, and it gave him such pleasure to tell the music story, to give others a leg up. In 1979, the publisher of Folk Review offered him the magazine. He and fellow contributors examined the books and, after regaining their balance, decided a new publication would be easier, founding the local Southern Rag. By the mid-'80s, it had gone national with subscribers around the world, filling a critical void in a media landscape increasingly indifferent to folk, roots, and world music. They expanded, changing the name to Folk Roots. In 1999, to highlight its focus on roots music in all its forms, they changed to F-Roots, following the trend of iMac and iTunes. It honestly did not occur to them that it could be read Fruits. To them, it meant accent roots. F-Roots also produces concerts, helps program festivals, sponsors tours, instigated the BBC Three World Music Awards, Europe in Union concerts, Cayley Aid, and Roots at the Roundhouse. And it posts amazing statistics for a 21st century folk music magazine. Over 40% of subscriptions going overseas and a renewal rate over 90% in an industry where anything over 50 is considered epic.
Présenter ce prix d'excellence, veuillez souhaiter la bienvenue à Roddy Campbell, fondateur et rédacteur en chef du magazine Penguin Eggs. Here to present the Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome founder and editor of Penguin Eggs magazine, Roddy Campbell.
Thank you. Bonsoir. Good evening. Well, there's not a lot I can say after watching that video, but I will say one thing. The music credits weren't there. Did you notice that? So we shout out for Leverett and Spyro, two great bands from the UK. Well, do you know what this is? You just saw a picture of it. That's the very first Southern Rag. 40 years later, I've read every issue that's ever been put out, and let me tell you, it's indispensable. Absolutely. You saw the video. I'm going to give you a wee bit of personal insight, but it has to be very brief. I guess we're running on hardly any time at all. So conventional wisdom in the magazine trade suggests cover features should be name recognition. Well, Folk Roots' initial front pages featured well-known artists from Mauritania, Java, Sudan. It was the first magazine to truly champion world music. One of its first color covers featured the great Flaco Jimenez, the Tex-Mex accordion. That interview sadly produced a backlash of racist letters to the editor. His response was to put Thomas Mafuno on the cover 2 issues later. Over the past 40 years, I've discovered numerous musicians and singers in this magazine. It inspired me to start Penguin Eggs here in Canada, and to go see some of the greatest gigs I've ever seen in my life. Malatoa and the Malathini and the Mayatola Queens, Salif Keita, Martin Simpson, June Tabor, the list goes on and on. I could talk about this magazine all night. But F Roots was the recipient of the Womex Award for Professional Excellence in 2010. It is now my pleasure to present the Lifetime Achievement Business Award to my dear colleague, founder and editor of F Roots, Ian Anderson.
No, not that one. Put that there and see if I can manage to not break it. Just to keep it short, I will. Obviously, I want to give massive thanks to all the staff, the photographers, the writers who've actually made this magazine over the last 40 years, and all the loyal readers who subscribe, but also all the people who made the music which has inspired us in the first place. It's been a regular kind of joke in the F Roots office. Aren't we glad we're not part of the music business? We've been saying that for years. So we like to thank all the artists and the record labels and the events organisers who've realised that we don't simply exist to make them famous. We're actually part of a musical ecosystem where everybody works together. And hey, did you hear that? What that guy's doing over there? You should listen to that. You know, that's what we do. I had a look at the Folk Alliance website, at the incredible list of previous Lifetime Achievement Award recipients, and I'm amazed, A, that we're asked to be part of this at all, and secondly, that we're only the second English recipient, which is quite scary. Thank you for putting us into the Folk Aliens Hall of Infamy.
One more time for Ian Anderson, everybody. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, it is time to kick off the Best of 2018 awards. Finalists are compiled from over 20 year-end radio and print media lists from around the world. The winner is determined by the voting membership of Folk Alliance.
C'est l'heure de la remise de prix du meilleur de 2018. Les finalistes sont compilés d'après les listes de fin d'année d'une vingtaine de médias de partout à travers le monde et le gagnant déterminé par le vote de la membriété.
To present the 2018 Artist of the Year, please welcome Executive Director of the Levitt Foundation, Liz Levitt-Hirsch.
Pour présenter l'artiste de l'année 2018, veuillez accueillir la directrice générale de la Fondation Levitt, Liz Levitt-Hirsch.
How are you?
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Hey. Bonsoir. C'est vraiment un plaisir d'être ici et pratiquer le français. Just one thing that I'd like to share. I'm actually the board president of Levitt Foundation. Sharon Yazowski is the executive director. Thank you. So good evening, bonsoir. Our mission at the Mortimer and Mimi Levitt Foundation is to strengthen the social fabric of America. We empower communities to transform underused public spaces into welcoming destinations where the power of free live music transforms underused public spaces, and brings people of all ages and backgrounds together. In 2019, the Levitt Foundation is supporting over 550 free outdoor concerts in 26 towns and cities from coast to coast. Levitt Lawns are where people experience iconic music legends, discover new artists, and expand their cultural horizons, reflecting our goal to ensure access for everyone to high-caliber live music experiences. All Levitt concerts feature acclaimed emerging artists to seasoned, award-winning talent in a wide range of music genres, including many celebrated here at Folk Alliance International. And now it is my great pleasure to present Artist of the Year, and the nominees are Dom Flemons, I'm With Her, Jeremy Ducher, Wallace Bird, and William Prince. And the Artist of the Year is I'm With Her.
Hi guys, we just found out that we won. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Folk Alliance for giving us this honor. We appreciate it so much, and we really wish that we could be hanging out with all of you, all of y'all in Montreal.
And congratulations to all the other amazing artists nominated for this award and every award.
We are not I'm With Her, though he's with me.
I'm with her.
They couldn't be here tonight because they are on tour. They're super excited to have won. For a band that had formed at the Sheridan Opera House during the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, where their first rehearsal was in the bathroom, we are extremely proud to be standing here tonight.
And we are honored on behalf of Rounder and Concord. We are so thrilled to have received the album from them, shared it with the world, and what a beautiful album it was. We're so grateful to be alongside such incredible nominees. Art is never a competition, but we view it as a celebration of some of the membership's best of what this night is all about. Hopefully the rest of the week we can find some new favorites to celebrate all year long. I'm With Her is just such a wonderful band. They're on the road right now doing what folk musicians do, is sharing their hearts, sharing their stories. Thank you to Folk Alliance. Thank you to the membership for your votes. Thank you for the work you do daily, day in, day out, spreading the community, the ethos, the heart of folk music. We are so grateful, and if I've stalled enough, I think we might have a little thank you from the band as well.
Hi guys, we just found out that we won. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Folk Alliance for giving us this honor. We appreciate it so much, and we really wish that we could be hanging out with all of you, all of y'all in Montreal.
And congratulations to all the other amazing artists nominated for this award and every award. It's just a thrill to be alongside such incredible peers of ours.
Yay!
Well, now an award near and dear to my heart. I started out before I hosted Q on CBC. I was the host of a folk music show in Canada called Deep Roots. I spent a long time hosting that, and I've been a long time partner and I've really enjoyed the camaraderie I've gotten through Folk Alliance as part of the Folk DJs. Folk DJs have been integral in ensuring songs reach listeners far and wide once a record is made. And the Folk DJ Hall of Fame recognizes DJs who've made an outstanding contribution to the preservation, promotion, and once again, apparently, presentation of folk music. And who have demonstrated inspired leadership in the broadcast field. Sorry.
Après le lancement d'un album, les présentateurs radio ont toujours eu le rôle primordial d'assurer que les chansons rejoignent les auditeurs. Le Folk DJ Hall of Fame reconnaît les animateurs de radio qui ont fait des contributions exceptionnelles à la promotion de la musique folk et qui ont fait preuve de leadership dans le domaine de la diffusion.
Here to announce the inaugural inductees into the Folk DJ Hall of Fame, please welcome past inductee Mike Regent-Strife and current board member Ellen Stanley.
Pour vous présenter les nouveaux membres de ce temple de la renommée, veuillez accueillir un ancien, Mike Regent-Strife, ainsi qu'un membre du conseil, Ellen Stanley.
It is our pleasure to be here with you this evening and recognize the new inductees into the Folk DJ Hall of Fame.
Born in Tennessee and raised in the Boston area, our first inductee learned about folk music as a child from her father, who was a close friend of members of the Carter family. During the 1960s, she frequented the Boston area coffee houses, sometimes as a performer, sometimes as a spectator. In 1975, she volunteered at a community radio station and found herself doing a folk music show on the air for 4 years. After moving to the Albany, New York area in 1982, WAMC-FM, a major NPR affiliate, finally acquiesced and gave her a spot on Saturday night, following a Prairie Home Companion. She's been on the air ever since with the Hudson River Sampler for the past 36 years, for a total of 40 years in radio, and she still plays and sings for fun. Please join me in congratulating my friend, Wanda Fisher.
What do you mean by cut?
Oh my goodness. Thank you, everyone. Merci bien, mes amis. You know, I've been thinking a long time about what to say because I'm not only a radio person, and I'm a writer, and you know, we can be really verbose, but I gotta get this train rolling. First of all, last year in Kansas City, Folk Alliance inducted Dick Pleasance to the Folk DJ Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't be a folk DJ if it weren't for Dick. And I am so honored to be included in this same august body of people as he is, let alone the others, including this guy behind me. Today, my friend Matt Watroba is also going to be included. Coincidentally, he recorded a song about radio with Eric Erickson with me, who was also a folk DJ at a time, on a CD I made a number of years ago. He's going to be inducted too. And by the way, the song was about radio. And all I can say about that is, wow. And I can't leave this podium without thanking my father, Giles Adams, whose love for this music we all share, started me on this path. I was truly born into this music. He took me to the Grand Ole Opry, my first coffee house, and to rub elbows with his childhood friends, Joe, June, and Jeanette Carter, who came to our family reunions when I was a child and I didn't know they were famous. He introduced me to the music that wasn't popular. We were listening to Hank Williams, Jimmy Rogers, and yes, Johnny Cash, before it was fashionable. That led me to the coffee houses in Boston, where I met the person I ultimately married, Bill Fisher, who is here tonight with me and who has supported my radio habit for more than 40 years. When the people at WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, came to me in 1975 and told me I was going to be a folk music TJ, I was like, yeah, right.
I didn't know anything about turning those radio dials, but Dick Pleasant said I should try it, so I did. My family, Bill, our children, Becky and Tim, made many sacrifices so that I could give up my Saturday nights to do radio. Thanks to Garrison Keillor, my opening act. Thank you to the administration of WAMC for giving me the opportunity to do this show. The listeners who made it all worthwhile. They listen from all over the globe. They support the station financially and me emotionally. That's the miracle of radio. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This means amazing things to me.
Well, it's such a treat to be up here and recognizing these other wonderful DJs who've been inspiring to me as a DJ and to be up here with Mike. Congratulations, Wanda. As a radio host and performer, our next inductee has spent most of his adult life sharing his knowledge and passion for folk music with just about anyone who would listen. He made his radio debut as producer and host of the popular Folks Like Us program, a show that ran for over 2 decades on Detroit Public Radio. He has interviewed hundreds of performers from Pete Seeger to Townes Van Zandt, and he has hosted and produced syndicated shows for Sing Out Magazine and Folk Alley. Matt has contributed programming to WEMU in Ypsilanti, Michigan, WKSU in Kent, Ohio, and is currently on WKAR in East Lansing, Michigan. Please join me in congratulating Matt Watroba.
Thank you so much for this award and for this honor. I went to the Folk Alliance for the first time in its 2nd year, and it was just like this. It was 200 people at a Howard Johnson's in Philadelphia. And one of the things I want to thank the International Folk Alliance for, especially, is to create the community that has become the folk DJ people. Because we all did this before Folk Alliance, but we didn't know each other before Folk Alliance, and I treasure the relationships that I've been able to form, and I want to thank the International Folk Alliance for making that happen. So this is really to all my fellow DJs, to their families for allowing them to do it, mostly for free, and also to the artists and the creators. Keep the music coming. Thanks, everybody.
The next inductee has been at the very heart of the UK music scene for the better part of 50 years. He's established a worldwide reputation as an influential programmer and has been described by Radio Times as one of the greats of British contemporary music broadcasting, and by the Mail on Sunday as a national treasure. From his groundbreaking work in the 1970s on BBC Radio 1's legendary Old White Whistle Test TV shows, to his current program, Bob Harris Country, on BBC Radio 2. We're delighted to make our final induction to a DJ that Robert Plant describes as championing the unknown, the obscure, and legendary with equal zest and detail. Please join us in congratulating Whispering Bob Harris. Bob was unable to be
Hello,
here
it's Bob
tonight,
Harris here.
but
in
there's a
my
video.
Studio. Hello, it's Bob Harris here in my studio in Oxfordshire in the UK. And I just wanted to say how thrilled I am to be part of this wonderful evening, to be here with you on the day that I've been inducted into the Folk Alliance DJ Hall of Fame. It's an incredible honor. Thank you very much indeed. It's particularly special, I think, this year, isn't it? It's the 30th anniversary of the founding of the Folk Alliance, so I know tonight is a particularly special evening. I just wanted to say also how honoured I am to be part of this community, the folk music community, you know, the music the songs, but in particular, the people. I think the warmth of this community is something very special indeed. So thank you very much, and a big shout out to Tom Power. It's great to be sharing the evening with you, Tom. Hope all is good with you, and to everybody, have a great night. Thank you very much. Honoured I am to be part of this community, the folk music community, you know, the music, the songs, but in particular, the people. I think the warmth of this community is something very special indeed. So thank you very much, and a big shout out to Tom Power. It's great to be sharing the evening with you, Tom. Hope all is good with you, and to everybody, have a great night. Thank you very much.
Et maintenant, veuillez montrer un accueil chaleureux aux artistes d'une des collaborations les plus fascinantes au Canada. Lauréat des prix Juno et candidat ce soir pour l'album de l'année, Tricontinental. And now, please welcome to the stage one of Canada's most intriguing collaborations. Juno Award winners and nominees tonight for Album of the Year, Tricontinental.
Hi. Lester got stuck in Fredericton because of flights, but now we're gonna do 3. This is a song for all the people that have been living in this part of the world and many other places around the world for thousands of years. And, our First Nations brothers and sisters.
To present the next Spirit of Folk Award, please welcome the founder of the Compagnie du Nord and artistic director of Chants de Vienne, Geneviève Nadeau.
Bonsoir. Our next recipient has led a life of service dedicated to worker rights with a 20-year career with the Confederations of National Trade Unions. Focused on uniting workers through song and music. A lifelong resident of Montreal, he has worked as chairman of the Société pour la promotion de la danse traditionnelle québécoise. He is the president of Folk Québec and was a former board member of Folk Alliance. He is also the founder of La Grande Rencontre, a festival of traditional Québécois music which celebrated its 26th year last September. I've met Gilles 23 years ago as I was hosting a traditional Québécois music as programmer of Le Grand Café here in Montreal. At one point, I saw him. He was coming towards me. I think it was La Galvaude playing. In the seconds, we were discussing of the importance to bring trad music where the young people were. After 5 minutes, he was asking me if I was looking for a student internship. As I said yes. For a whole year, I've been lucky to following him full in action on his Bronco 89, having so much amazing discussion about the value of folk music. So many windows open in my head through these exchanges. Windows I continue to open day after day. Merci beaucoup, Gilles, pour ta générosité, pour cette passion qui t'anime, for everything you brought us and for keep going. Please join me congratulating Gilles Garand.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Welcome to Montreal, my friends from the world in music, folk, world, and traditional. You are the best people I know. In 1972, there was the first traditional festival in Montreal done by André Gladu, a cinematographer who has done the Song of French in North America, a series of 29 films about the music of French in North America and the source of Acadia, Louisiana, and also Missouri and Ireland and the French origin in Brittany. And he received last year the UNESCO Prize for his incredible memory. He is my master. And when I was in this festival and there was an incredible snowstorm, and I listened to this music, and it changed my life since 1972. And I'm 72 now, years old, and I'm still fighting to get the Quebec music to the world. We have bring artists to Scotland, Showcase Scotland. My first folk alliance was in 1992 in Boston, and for 17 years since Cleveland, Vancouver, Nashville, Kansas City, Memphis, we have bring Quebec music to the world, to the Folk Alliance, to the WOMEX, and we are privileged to be supported by Musique Action, Canada Council, Factor, and SODEC. Our culture lives in the world stage of music, and it's because of you, because you do your job. And in this weekend, we will bring you 66 showcase of music of Quebec see us and bring the artists to your festival. Merci beaucoup. C'est un privilège d'être ici ce soir, recevoir ce prix du Folk Alliance, parce que le Folk Alliance, dans le fond, c'est mes amis, c'est mes amitiés. C'est des gens avec qui on échange, on écoute, on a du plaisir ensemble. Et juste pour vous donner un peu le son du Québec. Par un dimanche au soir, en m'en allant veiller, j'ai entendu la belle chanter une chanson. Des vies dans les bouteilles, les verres et les flacons. Bonne fin de semaine tout le monde!
Our next Spirit of Folk presenter is a longtime friend of Folk Alliance International, co-founder of Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, and Juno award-winning songwriter. Please welcome Stephen Fearing.
Thank you very much. Our next recipient has a reputation for superb original design and a deeply warped sense of humor, which has made him the graphic designer of choice among the folk music industry for nearly 3 decades. His signature style is instantly recognizable and widely celebrated, earning him a Juno Award, a Hamilton Music Award, 2 Independent Music Awards, inclusion in the 50 Years of Helvetica art exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, and multiple other award nominations. In addition to working with Folk Alliance for 20 years, from 1998 to the 2018 conference, his designs can be seen on countless album covers and event posters throughout the music industry. Michael's work and his passion for music has made him a pillar of the folk community, and he continues to share this passion on his weekly radio shows From Cover to Cover and Radio Rycraft, and at his regular tribute nights in Toronto's premier folk club, Hughes Room. Please join me in congratulating my friend, Michael Rycraft.
Hello there, my lovely folky friends, all gathered and huddled together in Montreal. I am so sorry, I am heartsick, as you can see, that I cannot be with you. This is my 6th Folk Alliance conference I've had to miss. Perhaps some of you heard about this. I had an extreme pedicure, which has suddenly put certain little limitations on my life, one of which is the width of the damn doorways on Via Rail. So due to technical difficulties, I cannot be with you, but I sorely miss you. I have thousands of friends and acquaintances there at Folk Alliance, and I've missed you all for 6 years. But I do want to thank all of you for giving me this award, the Spirit of Folk Award. I want to thank Phyllis Barney, who brought me into the Folk Alliance. I'd like to thank Bruce Myers, and I'd like to thank Angus Finning, who is taking the Folk Alliance Conference and the International Folk Alliance to places heretofore unimagined. So, thank you all very much. This is A Man Called Rycraft, now rebranded as Half a Man Called Rycraft. Have a great weekend, everybody, and hopefully I'll see some of you soon. Cheers.
Another round of applause for Michael Rycraft, everybody. As part of its permanent commitment to addressing the impact and footprint of our industry and our community events, Folk Alliance recognizes a festival annually that prioritizes environmental stewardship and demonstrates public leadership in education and sustainable event production with the Clearwater Award.
Folk Alliance s'engage continuellement à adresser l'impact de notre industrie et de nos événements communautaires. Le prix Clearwater reconnaît annuellement un festival qui priorise la responsabilité environnementale et la production d'événements durables.
This is an important award to do sustainability the right way. Unlike a certain festival I went to where a guy turned to me one time and said, "Hey man, you know you can eat spaghetti out of a Frisbee." It's a true story, man. It's a good festival. Here to present the award, please welcome the Executive Director of Folk Music Ontario, Alka Sharma.
Pour présenter le prix, je vous demande d'accueillir le directeur général de Folk Music Ontario, Alka Sharma.
Good evening. In the 80s, this year's award recipient made a commitment to continue greening initiatives on site each year, designed to keep the earth clean and green and to include as many people as possible. These initiatives include using hand-push carts instead of golf carts on site, bike brigades to the festival, shuttle buses, paid for by on-site parking charges, free portable water, solar-powered phone charging stations, pedal-powered stages, compost and recycling stations, reusable cups and cutlery with dishwashing facilities, and a living green roof on the main stage that doubles as the gardens. The festival is already the recipient of the Best Green Operations Award from Canadian Music Week, the Best Greening Award from Festivals and Events Ontario, and the Grand River Conservation Authority's highest distinction, the Honor Roll Award. It is my pleasure to welcome to receive the 2019 Clearwater Award on behalf of the Hillside Festival, Marie Zimmerman.
Staging and for honoring us with this award. Thank you to the Clearwater Festival and the Winnipeg Folk Festival for setting the bar so high. And I really want to thank the 1,326 volunteers at Hillside who wash dishes and dig compost holes, really, really big, deep compost holes on an island, who pedal frantically all weekend in order that the stages, some of the stages have lights and sound. Without their muscle and without their ingenuity, we wouldn't have been able to have saved about 2,000 tons in CO2, which is like taking 425 cars off the road for a full year. So, thank you for Alliance International. Thank you to all of the volunteers at Hillside, and thank you for honoring us today. Chibigwech, merci beaucoup.
One of the finest festivals in this country. Give another round of applause to the Hillside Festival, everybody. Well, what an honor it is to be here in Montreal, and it's time to present the Legacy Lifetime Achievement Award to one of Montreal's absolute favorites. Please turn your attention to the screen as we celebrate Leonard Cohen.
C'est l'heure de présenter le prix hommage à un Montréalais, maître de la poésie, de l'amour, du chagrin et de la chanson. Veuillez vous tourner vers les écrans pour célébrer le légendaire Leonard Cohen.
Suzanne takes you down to her place near the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her.
Fan is too mild a word to describe Leonard Cohen's legions. The Canadian songwriter's name was a social password for teenager Suzanne Vega. Do you like Leonard Cohen? If the answer was who, they could not be friends. Simply knowing his music made Australian country boy Nick Cave feel like the coolest kid in the world. It stamped a footprint so deep, he said, I could never listen to music the same way again. To the Irish kid who became U2's Edge, he was a prophetic musical voice of almost biblical significance. His future bandmate Bono called Cohen our Shelley, our Byron. To see the genius in Cohen's droning, chanted vocals and circular guitar cadences meant membership in a secret society that wanted its music smart, deep, and droll, truth served straight up, dark lit, and literate. His best songs became iconic markers of the times. Suzanne, Sisters of Mercy, Everybody Knows, Tower of Song. There are over 300 recorded versions of his haunted hymn, Hallelujah. The Partisan became an anthem of the Polish Solidarity movement, and Kurt Cobain sang, "Give me a Leonard Cohen afterworld so I can sigh eternally." Vega said, "I felt like he was a small, quiet voice that belonged to me." Cohen would have agreed. "Everything I wrote," he said, "I wrote for everybody." Born in 1934 to a prominent Jewish family in Montreal, Cohen worshipped at a synagogue his grandfather helped found. He first wrote at 9 after his father died, a farewell message he ritually buried with his father's bow tie. Tradition, ritual, sorrow, and mortality always inspired him. "My family were good people, handshake people," he told The New Yorker. "I never had a sense of rebellion." Writing and music were the twin engines of his muse, but separate engines until he was 32. He wrote poetry, idolized Yeats and Lorca, while learning folk songs from the People's Songbook, studying the narrative cabaret of Edith Piaf and Jacques Brel, and playing in a country band called the Buckskin Boys. In a story eerily like a Leonard Cohen song, he took 3 guitar lessons from a Spaniard he met on a tennis court, learning 6 flamenco chords before the teacher killed himself. Cohen called those 6 chords and the patterns they made the basis of all my songs. He quickly became a critically acclaimed poet and novelist. His sultry, surreal second novel, Beautiful Losers, was a cult classic, earning him important cachet when he migrated to Greenwich Village. In 1966, he suddenly decided to become a songwriter. A friend introduced him to Judy Collins, who immediately recorded Suzanne and Dress Rehearsal Rag. She invited him to sing Suzanne at an anti-war benefit. He was terrified, sang 1 verse, and fled the stage. Collins pulled him back, promising to stand beside him. The wild ovation eased his stage fright, but for years, Cohen said performing made him feel like a parrot chained to a stand. And yet, in his 70s, he became pop's unlikeliest road warrior, his shows favorably compared to Bruce Springsteen's for their length and crowd-pleasing energy.
I'll wear an old man's mask for you. I heard them say.
Lazy critics saw only the darkness, dubbing him godfather of gloom, troubadour of sadness, writer of music to slit your wrists by. But it was not Cohen's darkness that drew us to his mortal flame. It was his eternal quest to find goodness and beauty within the darkness. There's a crack in everything, Leonard Cohen sang. That's how the light gets in.
There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Joni Mitchell.
My name's Joni Mitchell, and I've had the good luck and proud honor to sing for several years with, to sit in Zen meditation with, to laugh heartily with, and to remain friendly over decades with a true Montreal gentleman, Leonard Cohen, the recipient of this Lifetime Achievement Award. And what a life he had. On behalf of his children, Adam and Lorca, their children, and the rest of his family and friends, I offer deep gratitude. Thank you. Merci.
Here to present the 2018 Album of the Year, s'il vous plaît, accueillez à l'estrade the content manager from Stingray and Montreal Folk Alliance International Board member, Greg Torrington.
asked me to present this award because he knew I only had to get here on the Metro. This month marks my 9th anniversary of being a Montrealer. I welcome you all to the city that I now call home. And Stingray Music is based here. It's an international music streaming company and video streaming service. We're based here in just a few blocks from here, actually, in Old Montreal. We're available in 20 million North American homes via digital cable and millions of more on our app. I'm privileged to oversee all our roots and folk programming. We have dozens of channels, all in the folk, blues, Americana, bluegrass genres. I invite you to download the app. Anyway, I'm here to present the Album of the Year Award. So let's look at the nominees. Dust Dance by Tricontinental. El Mal Carrera by Rosalia. Rifles and Rosary Beads by Mary Gaucher. Secularia by Eliza Gilkyson. And Tear, Highland Life and Lore, Brian O'Hedra and Fiona McKenzie. And the Album of the Year is presented to Mary Gaucher for Rifles and Rosary Beads.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm not Mary Gaucher. But my name is David Macias. I'm the president of 30 Tigers. We had the great honor of working with her on this amazing record. She was disappointed that she could not be here tonight, but she sent a speech that I have on my phone. Thank goodness, it just came up. So she wanted to pass along these words. I want to thank the members of the Folk Alliance for embracing me over the last 20 years. It has been my great pleasure to be a longtime active member of this fine organization. I found my first agent, my first manager, got my first record deal right here at this conference. I got booked for my first folk festival and found my first publicist and radio promoter here. Thank you for all the service that you've provided for all the artists who are trying to find their way in this complex business. For those of you who voted for this record, God bless you. I get how it is very difficult to understand how to disagree and even hate a war and the politicians and political structures that get us into conflict, but also to embrace the soldiers who were sent to fight them. The stories and songs on this record were all written with members of the military and military spouses. Their struggle and suffering is all too real, as is their sacrifice. For you to honor them with this acknowledgement of their service and their pain means the world to them. Blessing be upon all who suffer the trauma of war. Thank you.
Our next Spirit of Folk Award presenter is a past FAI board member et directeur artistique de Mullally, Montréal. Please welcome to the stage, Derek Andrews.
Thanks very much. The award for Alfredo Cashaw is I'm accepting on his behalf. I'll just let the cat out of the bag right away. And I will read his remarks and then say something about Alfredo because I've worked with him for 20 years. Sadly, due to the weather, I'm on my way back to London, like so many other people affected by the travel. Thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for this recognition. This means a lot to me and to the Sunfest family. Have a wonderful conference and my sincere appreciation for the incredible efforts in bringing music community together. Until next time, un abrazo fraternal. That lousy Spanish accent indicates a little bit about Alfredo because he is 20 years in Canada, a Guatemalan refugee, C-A-X-A-J, Cashaw. Remember that name. Alfredo has been bringing audiences to London, Ontario for free concerts year after year. His passion is remarkable for the music, and I want to direct you to a GIF on the internet where Alfredo is celebrating. I hope he's watching in the broadcast at home, because I guess this is free streaming. So Alfredo, this one's for you. If you've ever seen Alfredo up at the front of the house, he is taking his white scarf and swirling it. Go on the internet, look up Alfredo Kashaw, and you will see him swirling his scarf with enthusiasm. I hope you all do the same through the conference. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage to present the next Spirit of Folk Award, Folk Alliance International Board Member Gil Gastella.
Hello everyone. Born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and based in New York City, this Spirit of Folk Award recipient's music contains influences from South America, jazz, and electronica. Singing in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, her community performances and festival workshops often include educational components revealing the social cultural roots and cross-pollinizations of music. She has worked with Berklee College of Music's global initiatives since 2011, including the Berklee Latino Songwriting Project. She's also been instrumental in helping connect Central and South American artists with the North America market, and vice versa, and is now working on a new project called Umbral, which explores the depths and limits of vocal expression mixed with the musical character of South America. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Sophia Ray. And she couldn't be here tonight, but she sent a video. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Sophia Ray, and I am so sorry that I'm not able to be there tonight in person. Thank you so much for this beautiful recognition. I am thrilled and honored to be receiving this award. I've spent most of my life researching, performing, and producing in the field of Latin American folk music, and I have been lucky enough to work with wonderful artists from Argentina all the way to Cuba and here in New York where I am based, creating and developing platforms and networks to expand the definition of Latin American music, embracing new work and more experimental work. So this is shared with them, with all these colleagues that have shared this vision, and I would like to thank to the International Folk Alliance for their amazing work throughout the decades and for this award, of course. And I would like to thank Angus Finnan for his awesome leadership. I will be joining you this weekend at the conference. I have a showcase on Saturday afternoon. I hope you can come and say hi. I would love to meet each and one of you in person. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage to present the next Spirit of Folk Award, musician and Borealis Records co-founder, Grit Laskin. Our next performers are no straight. Oh, sorry. Désolé.
Here we are. Great. Yes. Hi. I'm Grit Laskin. I'm not the Good Lovelies. I'm neither good nor lovely, but I'm Grit Laskin. And I'm thrilled to be here to be presenting this award to Sunny Oaks. Sunny, I think you have a few fans here, including me up on stage. You know she's an acclaimed music producer, radio host. She's known for organizing the Phil Oakes Song Nights in memory of her activist brother, singer-songwriter Phil Oakes, which she has produced throughout all of North America for the past past 26 years. While an English teacher in Brooklyn, she stumbled into a career as a disc jockey, spinning folk records for WFMU, WRPI, hosting a radio program called Folk Music and Other Stuff since the 1980s, and she currently hosts a program on WIOX and volunteers at countless folk festivals and conferences in Canada and the US. She's also the founder and host of the Wisdom of the Elders panel, a recorded interview-style panel event with senior folk music community leaders, which she has presented at Folk Alliance International and Folk Music Ontario, and she's done that for years. Have people come to the Wisdom of the Elders? Anybody here? There's a session this weekend. You don't want to miss it. If that wasn't enough, in 2016, she established the Phil Oakes Award to honor artists who advance the spirit of Phil's music and activism, and that's key. Our entire folk community is a better place because of this woman. Please join me in congratulating Sunny Oakes.
Thank you. I just have one correction to make. You said 26 years of Phil Oakes Song Nights. Actually, it's been 35. And I'm still here to tell the tale. All right, I've spent 35 years having a wonderful time in the folk community, doing everything from hosting radio shows to stage managing at festivals and emceeing, including Canadian festivals. I worked at Ottawa Festival 5 years and Mariposa for 3 years. And I've been producing concerts since the 1980s also, still doing it. We do a monthly concert at our local library. And I also been volunteering at conferences, including FMO and, of course, Folk Alliance, and keeping my brother Phil's music alive. And it's been wonderful to see how many young people are starting to pick up his songs again, because they're still relevant, unfortunately. And now this, being honored for having such a great time. It doesn't get any better. And that's all I have to say. And please enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
Récipiendaire du prix Juno, et ce soir en nomination pour la chanson de l'année, j'ai le plaisir de vous présenter les prochains artistes sur scène, The Good Lovelies.
Our new next performers are no strangers to Folk Alliance or any festival stage in North America, Europe, or Australia. I met them first at a folk music conference, I believe, at 4 in the morning in the middle of a hallway. And look where we are now at a folk music conference at 7 p.m. in the middle of a hallway. Please welcome to the stage our own The Good Lovelies.
Thank you. We'd like to sing a song from our most recent record called I See Gold. We've had this record out for 1 year, and it's been well received, the song, but it's also been misheard for the year as Icy Cold.
Kind of working for us today, actually. And you know, yeah, we're okay with that if people want to hear what they want to hear, you know. We've been doing this for 12 years full time. We have kids and mortgages, and if a beer company wanted us to change the lyrics of this song to be about icy cold beer, we would do it. We would do it. But as we sing the song, we don't want you thinking about our impending sellout. This is a song about resilience and hope, and the main lyric for us that we sing to ourselves often is, "You don't get more than you can take." And if you can take anything away from this song, it's that. When I give the sun for an hour in bed, bone weary hanging by a thread. One word and I'll be standing guard. My baby's call is my call to arm. My skin like bones bleached white, marked blue by another night. Leaning out though I'm running, I feel a change coming. They say you don't get more than you can take, but when it breaks me, I see gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. There's a change coming, everything's gonna be alright. Gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. Let it go, everything's gonna be alright. I see gold, I see gold. If I wake up like dead weed in the morning light, lift you up and I'll hold you tight. My heart is a tenement, room for madness, room for all this. You don't get more than you can take, but when it breaks me, I see gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. There's a change coming, everything's gonna be alright. Gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. Let it go, everything's gonna be alright. I see gold, I see gold. We are the heavy lifters, we are the shapeshifters. We are the heavy lifters, we are the shapeshifters. We are the heavy lifters, we are the shapeshifters. We are the heavy lifters, we are the shapeshifters. Gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. There's a change coming, everything's gonna be alright. Gold in the shadows, flicker in the night. Let it go, everything's gonna be alright. I see gold, 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 I see gold. Thank you so much.
To present the final Spirit of Folk Award, please welcome to the stage Juno Award-winning artist Rose Cousins.
Thanks. Listen, it's great to be here. I don't know how I managed to get the honor of presenting this next award, but I'm super into it. Since his start in 1995 at the legendary folk club Passim in Boston, Harvard Square, this Spirit of Folk recipient has touched the lives and careers of thousands of artists as a presenter, organizer, and passionate music community member. On top of his role at Club Passim, he's been an industry panelist, juror, and a mentor to emerging artists. A master at curating stages, many artists he pairs go on to become great friends, collaborators, or even bands. His love of music is insatiable. He thrives in cultivating community and sees opportunity everywhere. 2018 marked the 20th anniversary of his Campfire Festival at Passim, a biannual fundraising event held on the 4-day Memorial and Labor Day weekends, bringing new talent and established artists to the club's discerning listeners. This is the place where many artists get their start, myself included. He has served multiple terms on the volunteer FAI Board of Directors, 2 years on the Executive Committee, and currently as Board President. Best of all, though, there's no one else who will work harder to see more music at any Folk Alliance conference than this generous, spirited man. Friends, please welcome to the stage a man I love an unreasonable amount, the incomparable and very handsome Matt Smith.
Did Rose Cousins just give me an award? That's crazy. And the Good Lovelies for the opening act. It's a good day. It's a good day. My first folk alliance was in 1998, and I started working at PASSEAM in 1994 or 1995. And to think that I would be here now accepting an award and having served on the board for the past 5 years and the past couple as president, it's a lot to take in, to think of how long I've been part of this family. And I thank all of you. Wow, I'm getting emotional. I'm not known for emotions. That's really not my thing. I do like music and all, but emotions, not so much. I've got to say that this is the best family that anyone could ever ask for. And you all out there inspire me every day to do what I do. So thank you for allowing me to do it for so long, and thanks to all the folks in here who have spent a lifetime doing this and know that you are all an inspiration to continue my lifetime in doing this. So thank you for this award. Thank you all for being here. Have a great conference.
So before we move on to the next award, I want to mention something, which is that it's not easy running a conference like this, much less running an award show like this, with the weather we've been facing, with the travel delays that we've been facing. Obviously, there's been so many delays, so many folks who couldn't make their speech, so many folks who are stuck in transit. Can we just give a round of applause to everybody here from Folk Alliance who's pressing on? I'm just imagining the incredible folk music being played at our nation's airports as we speak. And, you know, I got asked to mention this, and I don't really know how to do it, but I'll do it like this. So essentially, our next award recipient, she's not here. The person who's to give it to her is also not here. And we kind of have nothing to do here. So, but here's the reason we didn't just press on, because we're in Canada, and the idea of pressing on without at least mentioning the name and getting a round of applause from every single person in this room, and every single person in this room owes her a certain debt of gratitude, whether they know it or not, would seem horrible to me and almost irreligious to me or something like that. You know, like it'd be terrible. So, with that in mind, even though we don't got a video, we don't got a speech, we don't got a recipient, you know what we do have? Our voices in our hands. Please put your hands together for our final award winner, the great Joni Mitchell. That's pretty good. Wouldn't it be crazy if I just went, just kidding, here she is? But no, I'm not going to do that. Here to present the 2018 Song of the Year, sponsored by American Songwriter. Oh, I should mention, there's going to be a video for Joni. We do have it. It's going to be at the end of the broadcast, on the live broadcast, and you can watch it on the website later. Bam, Angus, I gotcha. Here to present the 2018 Song of the Year, sponsored by American Songwriter. Please welcome to the stage, Artistic Director of the Philadelphia Folk Festival, incoming Folk Alliance International President, Lisa Schwartz.
Pour présenter la chanson de l'année, je vous présente quelqu'un qui est ici ce soir, la directrice artistique du Festival Folk de Philadelphie et la nouvelle présidente de Folk Alliance, Lisa Schwartz.
Holy cow, I just followed Joni Mitchell. Hi, folks. It is my distinct honor to announce the nominees for the 2018 Song of the Year, an award sponsored by American Songwriter. Each of these songs topped the charts, held an important message, showcased the craft of fine writing, and made an impact on our community. And now, the nominees for the 2018 Song of the Year. I See Gold by the Good Lovelies. Shalala by Haley Hendricks. People Get Old by Laurie McKenna. Sunshiner by the Mammals. The President Sang Amazing Grace by Zoe Mulford, recorded by Joan Baez. And the 2018 Song of the Year is The President Sang Amazing Grace by Zoe Mulford, recorded by Joan Baez.
Well, hi. This is absolutely amazing. I'm going to start with 9 names that I have on my desktop that I read every day, which are Susie Jackson, Reverend Sharonda Coleman Singleton, Reverend DePayne Middleton, Cynthia Graham Hurd, Reverend Daniel Simmons, Ethel Lee Lance, Tawanza Sanders, Myra Thompson, and Reverend Clementa Pinckney. Their names are not in the song, so I thought I'd say them now. I am so grateful to Joan Baez for finding this song and for lending her iconic voice to it. I'm grateful to Rick Litvin and Jeff Schur, who created the beautiful video that some of you may have seen, which will be coming out in September as a book. And I'm grateful to my husband, Bijan Parsia, who's been with me every step of this crazy journey. But I have to tell you the story. I did not send that song to Joan Baez. It would not have occurred to me to send the song to Joan Baez. She heard it on the radio. And you know how that happened? That was you. That was the community of folk DJs. That was my amazing radio promoter, Carrie Estrin. That was my friends, Reggie Harris and Cheryl Prashker, without whose advice it would not have been on the album. And that was NERFA 2016, where the song was written. So thank you. This is what Folk Alliance is for.
I got good news. Our next recipient is here. I feel like that's an underwhelming response for such a rare event. Our next recipient is here. It gives me great pleasure now to present our final award to honoring the socially conscious roots of folk music. The People's Voice Award is presented to an individual who has unabashedly embraced social and political commentary in their creative work and music career. Past recipients include Canada's own Bruce Cockburn and Bonnie Raitt.
Le dernier prix de la soirée rend hommage aux racines engagées de la musique folk. Sociale et politique. Parmi les anciens récipiendaires, vous retrouverez des noms tels que Bruce Cockburn et Bonnie Raitt.
This year, the People's Voice Award goes to a musician, visual artist, educator, activist, philanthropist, innovator, and icon. She's had an active career of over 5 decades. Her songs have been sung by the likes of Janis Joplin, Joe Cocker, First Aid Kit, Elvis Presley. But more important, her songs have lived in the hearts of millions of people around the world. She penned the definitive anti-war anthem of the 20th century, The Universal Soldier. She recorded one of the world's first electronic vocal albums. She was the first woman to breastfeed on television during a 5-year role on Sesame Street. Right on. And she was the first and only Indigenous woman to win an Academy Award. You know, as we go into the Oscars next weekend, where we have, for the first time, an Indigenous woman up for Best Actress at the Academy Awards, her influence is still felt to this day. The message in her music, her trailblazing role as a woman in the music industry, her leadership in preserving Indigenous culture and language.
Cette année, le People's Voice Award est décerné à une musicienne, une artiste visuelle, une éducatrice, une activiste, philanthrope, innovatrice et véritable icône de la musique folk. Avec une carrière active sur 5 décennies, elle nous a donné l'incontestable hymne anti-guerre, Universal Soldier, a enregistré un des premiers albums électroniques vocaux, a été la première femme à allaiter à la télévision durant sa présence à l'émission Sesame Street et est la première et la seule femme autochtone à remporter un Academy Award. Pour son message, son rôle pionnier de femme dans l'industrie musicale, son travail pour la préservation des cultures et des langues autochtones.
You know what? What's exciting? After I say this, she's going to come up.
I know.
Isn't that exciting?
I can't wait.
Like after I say this, she's going to come up. So let's just do it. Hey, let's do it.
All
All
right.
right. Won't you please stand to help me welcome and celebrate the great Buffy St. Marie.
I'm going where the weather suits my clothes. Going where the weather suits my clothes. I'm going where the weather suits my clothes.
Thank you. Kichimiigwech, Niawe. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. I haven't seen you guys from Folk Alliance since Memphis. I've been trying to get back many, many times, and we finally made it in spite of the snowstorm. A lot of the people in this room are very familiar with the big question of the 1960s. Is that folk? Who the hell cared? I'll tell you who cared. Salesmen in record stores who wanted to know which bin they should put the record in. Because you put apples with the apples and oranges with the oranges so that paying customers can find what they were hoping to buy. Kerching, kerching. Now, I've been lucky enough to be around both sides of the big question for over 50 years, and I still don't know. Is that folk? Hell, I was a Little Richard fan, and all of a sudden I was standing next to Bill Monroe. There's no way that's not good. I don't care what you call it. So I sure have seen a lot of things, and I've had both a lot of pain and a lot of fun being on the periphery of the folk music business. But you gotta understand, money changes everything. Once entrepreneurs get a hold of something, anything, don't take it personally, and turn it into a business, it becomes something else. It becomes a business with employees and office furnitures and deadlines and taxes and the bottom line to consider and the whole business infrastructure shebang to support. So when folks like me who like to sit around playing their own music or their family music, we finally met, ta-da, the music business, and everything changed. Singing songs that you make yourself or that have been in your family for a long time, holy smoke, now you could win a Grammy. I never did. I never even got nominated, but some people did. Big-time businessmen set up stables of artists in the 60s, and the stars came out. Yay, that was good. But so, of course, did the usual gatekeepers who fan the flames of business competition, who then we thought of as the folk police, but now we just call them trolls. They turned their attention to the big question, is that folk? And songwriters like me were highly suspect. So you know what we did? Those of us outside of the blessed business circles, not well enough endowed with business clout, we just did what Eric Bibb sings about today in his great song, Just Keep Going On. You know that one? Just keep going on. Just keep going on. Eric Bibb. Just keep going on. Take every knock as a boost and every stumbling block as a stepping stone. Lift up your head and hold it. Gonna just keep going on. Eric Bibb. So anyway, that's what we did, or what I did anyway. See, I'm a natural musician, but I'm dyslexic in reading European notation. I can write music, I know how, but I can't read it back the next day. So I failed music class, and I was shut out of band, and I wasn't even allowed to apply to Berklee College of Music, who didn't care how well I composed or played, because I couldn't read, and that's what they were selling. I felt shamed and shunned and left out until 6 years later, the great Chet Atkins told me what he had said when anybody asked him, "Do you read music?" He said, "Not enough to hurt my playing." In this room tonight, we have a lot of great artists, and we also have a lot of great business people. This is like a room full of couples who are married, but as men and women, they don't truly understand each other. I wish we did. They both think, each one thinks the other side is crazy, and nobody's crazy. We're just quite delightfully different from one another, business and artists. And in my opinion, neither side is the enemy, but we sure could use a little reality about that in music education, including educating the public. So I want to stick up for something tonight. I would love it if the Junos and the Grammys would make a little 3-minute video listing some of the great musicians, loved by everybody, who can't read music. Nobody any good, of course. Nobody ever heard of people like Eric Clapton, Wes Montgomery, Chet Atkins, Jimi Hendrix, Elvis Presley, Little Richard, yay, Dave Grohl, the Beatles, Lionel Richie, Slash, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Michael Jackson, Danny Elfman, Eddie Van Halen, just about everybody in rock and roll, and almost everybody in folk music. None of us can read music. Many of them failed in music class, and they were shunned by other musicians and shut out of school band too. So there's no telling how many great musicians never surfaced because of this silliness. But the lucky ones like me just did what Eric Bibb recommends. Just keep going on. So that's what we did, and that's what I did. So thank you, life. And thank you to the Creator who made us in his or her own image, creative. Thank you to all the great musicians for preserving and revitalizing centuries of folk music around the world, whether you could write or not. Thank you to the business people who try to help us to get the music to people who want to hear it. And thank you so very much to Folk Alliance International. I'm so glad to finally be here again. And who bring us all together, and especially very much for this honor tonight. Much appreciated. Kichimiigwech.
Are you kidding me? Buffy St. Marie, give her a round of applause. Well, that was incredibly powerful. A round of applause for everybody involved in producing this award show tonight. We've come to the last performance of the evening. The official showcases are about to begin. It's been my pleasure to be your host this evening. The artist in me wants to let you know that my band's showcasing this weekend, so make sure to come out and see that. But I want to say what a privilege it is to be part of this community, to come from this community, and to return to this community over and over again.
Ça a été un énorme plaisir d'être avec vous ce soir. Moi aussi, je serai en vitrine dans diverses chambres d'hôtel avec mon projet solo et mon groupe Prairie Como. Mais pour l'instant, j'aimerais vous laisser avec une dernière performance. Un groupe québécois qui marie innovation et tradition. Êtes-vous prêts?
Bravo à tout le monde.
Je vous présente Mélissande Electrotrad.
J'ai le pied mal fait, puis j'ai pied fait sur camp. Là, je fais par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait, puis j'ai pied fait sur camp. la jambe arlinguette, la cheville par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait, et puis j'ai le pied fait dessus quand. Ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. J'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. Mon genou roulant, ma jambe arlinguette, ma cheville par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait et puis j'ai le pied fait dessus quand. Ma cuisse grassette, mon genou roulant, ma jambe arlinguette, ma cheville par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait et puis j'ai le pied fait dessus quand. J'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. J'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. J'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. J'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondaine, j'ai le pied fait dessus quand ma dondée. Mais c'est séduisant, ma cuisse grassette, mon genou roulant, ma jambe arlinguette, ma cheville par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait et puis j'ai le pied fait dessus quand. Puis je suis pas parfaite, mais c'est séduisant, ma cuisse grassette, mon genou roulant, ma jambe arlinguette, ma cheville par en dedans. J'ai le pied mal fait et puis j'ai le pied fait dessus quand. Have a great conference!
Merci d'avoir participé aux International Folk Music Awards de 2019. Félicitations à tous les lauréats ce soir et profitez du reste de votre soirée et de votre temps à la conférence. Bonne nuit. Thank you for attending the 2019 International Folk Music Awards. Congratulations to all tonight's recipients, and please enjoy the rest of your evening and time at the conference. Good night.
Woke up, it was a Chelsea morning, and the first thing that I heard was a song outside my window, and the traffic wrote the words.
It's impossible to imagine the folk world today if Joni Mitchell had not passed through it. She transformed not only how we hear folk music, but how we imagine it, combining the personal and universal so completely that, as biographer David Yaffe put it, Men fell in love with her, and women felt like she was singing their secrets out loud. With songs that became cultural anthems, Circle Game, Both Sides Now, Woodstock, Chelsea Morning, Big Yellow Taxi, she became to our inner lives, and especially to the inner lives of women, what Woody Guthrie was to our working lives. She was my voice, said novelist Malcolm Marone. She was everybody's voice.
They paved paradise, put up a parking lot.
There are over 6,600 recorded covers of her songs. She also revolutionized the use of open guitar tunings, turned the mountain dulcimer into an urban hipster, and pioneered a career path that became a model for post-revival folk artists. It's nearly as impossible to imagine this worldly, sophisticated superstar as the Saskatchewan country girl she was. Born Joni Anderson in 1943, she had her first epiphany staring out the window, watching the cars and thinking, here they come, where they going? Another epiphany came when she got a low grade while a less able student got a higher one. That's as good as he's ever going to write, her teacher said. You can write much better. It instilled in her the liberating belief she was competing only with her best self. A more critical epiphany came when she contracted polio at 10. She worked and willed her reluctant body back to life, leaving her with a powerful faith in that will. Attending art school, she sang folk songs at Calgary coffee houses. She became pregnant, putting her baby into foster care, a hurt that never left her. Her name changed during a brief marriage to folk singer Chuck Mitchell, more a professional than romantic coupling. Walking down the aisle, she thought, I can get out of this. Musicians championed her work. When Tom Rush asked for songs, she included a new one she called Probably Terrible. Rolling Stone said Rush's 1968 album launched the era of the singer-songwriter, named for that probably terrible song, The Circle Game.
And the seasons, they go round and round.
Still, the industry resisted her. She was so unique, singing a new kind of woman's song in a male-dominated industry. She wrote from deep within a woman's experience, combining a cold eye for the frailties of men with an unabashed attraction to them. Songs for women were always doormat songs, she said. They're all male fantasy, and my stuff is not. Dylan's manager, Albert Grossman, said she was too domestic. Another said he'd manage her if she gave him half her publishing. Give me half your management company, she said. Are you crazy, he said. Back at you, she replied, and walked out. She finally found a manager in Elliot Roberts who endorsed her idea of building stardom from continual touring, fan by fan, bypassing the industry. The commercial revival was fading, a new career path was needed, fans replacing moguls as star makers.
Stoking the star maker machinery behind the popular song.
As her fame grew, so did her commitment to telling her truth in ways that became our truth. After her harrowingly intimate 1971 masterpiece, Blue, songwriter Eric Anderson said it was like she turned her skin inside out.
Acid, booze, and ass, needles, guns, and grass, lots of laughs. The band sounds like typewriter.
As she reached the age most artists settle into comfortable ruts, Mitchell became more adventurous, exploring jazz, rock, and world beat, singing about poverty, injustice, the environment, and a stardust counterculture grown fat, complacent, and commercial. The reason I'm so unruly, she said, is that I never wanted to be a human jukebox.
All the California, coming home. I'm gonna see the folks I dig. I'll even kiss a sunset pig. California, coming home.